everybody, welcome to Pockets Full of Soup, the storytelling show. I'm your host, Jared Petty. To my right, your left, and at the center of the creative universe, Mike Aransky.
Heyo!
So at center of the earth, that's Will Ferrell, but center of the creative universe, definitely Mike Aransky.
Yeah, good point. All right, I'll go with that. Sure.
Mike, you're the host of a new and exciting endeavor.
Sure. I launched a YouTube channel because I'm crazy and I shouldn't have done that. It's called Classic Aransky. Why did I do it? Because I'm turning 40 this year. It's really sad. And I haven't made a movie in 5 years. And so I figured if I do this, then it would kind of motivate me to make the movie finally. So
going into production for yourself.
Yeah. I made a bunch of movies in the past. And then I finally, I moved here across the whole United States from the East Coast here to San Francisco. And during that time, I've gotten really busy and, had a kid and had real life stuff start hitting me. So I decided it was time to get back into the driver's seat and try to make a movie again.
What was the last movie you made?
I made a movie called Phobia. I was the EP on this film and also the director of photography for it. My buddy Rory Abel directed that one. And we had done that film. It got around. It actually got distribution. It was actually in Walmart. And you could go download it off the PlayStation Store and Xbox and Roku's and all kind of Amazons and fun stuff like that. So check it out.
So it's still out there?
So it's out there. It's
Yeah?
always out there now.
Oh,
It's
wow.
been bootlegged a million times. So
All right, there we go.
If you want to find some
Excitement.
bootlegs, kids, this is the place to find it.
Every time someone bootlegs Phobia, how much money do you make?
I make a whole sweet nothing.
All right,
So
there's
there's that. I just really wanted to get back into. We had a really good idea, but me and a good buddy of mine, Mike Pereira, have been playing around with it for a long time, and we're just decided that it was time to jump in and try to make this film again. So basically, the channel is me trying to make that movie, but at the same time, it's also about just trying to gain the confidence to get back in the driver's seat to do it again.
So you're kind of part vlog, part is it vlog or vlog? I'm not familiar with
I
the
guess they call it a
parlance.
vlog these
A
days.
vlog?
That's what the kids are into it. So.
I don't know. So it's a vlog racing.
Yeah.
There we go. Do the vlog. But in addition to being a kind of a journal, it's also kind of a little bit part like self-contained Project Greenlight.
Yeah, it's like a strange thing. So for me, it was like the thought process was we wanted to kind of do the opposite version of behind the scenes, right? So it's like the behind the scenes, but in the foreground where we're actually going to make this movie and just fully expose the idea of all the headaches it comes with actually trying to make an independent film with very little money to none. And so we thought, well, this is fun. I haven't actually talked about this project yet, so this is kind of cool.
And you've been making it for a while now.
Yeah, I've been living it for the last month, I guess,
Okay,
or so.
yeah.
But yeah, it's the idea for us was just like we wanted to get back into this, and it's a hard road to go and make a movie. So we thought, well, this would be interesting, and it's not exactly a vlog, it's kind of, I like to call it a narrative vlog because it also is the other fact that I'm just not very good on camera. And when I've been at, we used to work at IGN together.
Away with you.
Yeah. So for me, it was like getting on, getting on camera again has always been a shaky thing for me because I'm just not good at doing that.
You keep saying that, but so far you haven't broke the lens on this one, nor have you turned to stone.
You have no idea the stress, just the amount of anxiety I'm running into right now.
Would you like a massage?
Oh, man, that sounds sexy.
I'm actually very bad at massages. I mean, I could give you one, but it wouldn't be very effective.
We'll do that after.
Okay.
That way it gives me the less pressure knowing that's coming.
Maybe that'll be single serving this week. That's our Patreon exclusive. We can just me giving you a massage on camera for 10 minutes. That'll be it.
Yeah, enjoy. This will be lovely, everybody.
Now your show is free for everyone. It's just out there.
Yeah,
anybody can watch it that wants.
That's right. It's free. It's like it's cheaper than a candy bar. You literally can get up there and just take a chance at it. It's at classicaransky.com. I actually got a URL just because it was at first when you get a YouTube channel, you don't get that kind of fun like youtube.com/classicaransky. You don't get that until you get the first 100 subs.
Yep.
So I didn't have that, so I'm like, well, I'll get a URL. So I'll just stick with that for now. But classicaransky.com is where that's at. And no one can spell my last name, so it's going to be real confusing for anybody. But that's Classic Aransky, ClassicAransky.com. That sounds like a real terrible sales pitch right there. But
1-800-ARANSKY. Call
Man.
now. There we go.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Duke Leto Aransky of the House of Aransky, rulers of Arrakis.
Ooh.
No, that's not. That wasn't real at all.
I don't know what you just said.
They were at Maud Dib, the Atreides, indeed.
It's amazing the knowledge that comes out of you sometimes.
No, this is just a bunch of Dune crap.
Oh, is that Dune?
Yeah,
Oh.
the spice must flow.
I seen that movie that said the David Lynch flick.
Ooh, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, I know. I have actually never read the book, but I saw that, and I saw the documentary about the Dune movie that never happened.
That's an interesting documentary.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, it really
cool.
is. Yeah, so that Lynch movie, not so good.
You know they're remaking it finally. Right?
I
They
do know
officially
that.
elected the
Yes,
director?
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a good movie in there somewhere. Although I think a two-parter is going to serve it better than a one-parter.
Yeah. Did they say it's going to be more than one?
I'd be shocked if it's not. It's the way the story, the scale makes it really hard to cover that movie in one film.
Interesting.
I think it would be really difficult to do. But yeah, Lynch's version of Dune, not so good, even though I love him and just about everything else, Twin Peaks forever.
Yeah, there you go.
Where do you find the Twin Peaks?
It's funny. That's funny. Someone invited me to go see, they were screening, was it Firewalk with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone invited me to the screening of it at Draft House a couple weeks ago, and I had to pass because I'm not a Lynch fan. Well, no. Let me back this up. I am not a giant fan of Twin Peaks, which I know a lot of people are, and I'm sorry. No offense here. I do love Blue Velvet. I was big fans of Lost Highway and a couple of others.
So you like his cinema work more?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like when
One of those
Twin Peaks just didn't do it for me. And there's a lot of people I know love it, but it just didn't.
I'm not going to invite you to our Twin Peaks costume party.
Okay. Well, I'll go and have a really confusing costume because I wouldn't know what the hell I would be dressing up as. So.
Yeah, we're having one. Get ready for the show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's
a bunch
amazing.
of people from work are coming. It's going to be fun.
Oh, that's cool. Because that's right. It's coming back out, right? Like
Yeah, it's coming back out. They're doing it season
Showtime,
3.
right?
Yeah, so we're going to have a big costume party, and I cannot wait. People are calling costumes. Apparently, I've been told I have to be the major. So that's what I'm going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since I don't know what that is, I'll trust you.
If you're still with us for some reason, after all the David Lynch talk.
Sorry.
Not you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That was me. I went off on a David Lynch tangent.
Hey,
there.
man,
we
that's
should
cool.
be talking about classic Ransky and also about Pockets Full of Soup, the show you're watching right now. Thank you so much for watching, listening, at all, etc. As always, feel free to subscribe on YouTube, join our Facebook group, all the rest of that. And we want to take a moment to thank our Patreon producers, who are Nick Rie and Robert Nieder, both of whom give generous support every month to make this show possible.
Nice
so thank
job.
you guys again this month, and
Thank
to
you.
everybody who gives. Now,
That's awesome, by the way. The fact that you get these producers like that's fantastic.
they're kind people.
Yeah, they're
really
good
wonderful.
people. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Just fantastic.
They let me do a dream thing every week. It's kind of amazing. Everybody who gives, from the people who give $1 to the people who give more than that, everybody's helping.
Nice job, everyone.
Yes, thank you. And for those who don't, but watch and listen and support, thank you. Yeah, okay. That was a long spiel. Let's talk to you. I think that might be our longest intro ever. So let's. And
Well, at this
I went
point,
off on
they're
David
off.
Lynch.
There
I
you
went
go.
off on David Lynch.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Give respect to a good director. I understand that.
I love Lynch. Yeah. Who's your favorite director?
Favorite director? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a loaded question.
Yeah. You're
I
a
have it because
filmmaker.
I have personal stake in it. But Sam Raimi, and I know he's no like Orson Welles or whatever, is the most inspirational director to me. Without Sam Raimi making the Evil Dead franchise, I basically wouldn't be here right now. Thanks to that, because this could be another long tangent, so I don't know how I want to do that. But like, Raimi for me, like I literally wrote when I tried to get into college was that's the director I want to be as my kind of like big paper about it. And but like his idea of when he made the Evil Dead films was it was him and his buddies making horror films and became a big deal. And that guy has a giant career because of that, and the way he handles his direction is just awesome. It's very distinct, and I'm a very big Raimi fan. He's had a couple of films here and there that have been not exactly my cup of tea, but he really is kind of the inspiration between like him, Tappert, Scott Spiegel, Bruce Campbell, and all those guys. It's just the buddies getting together, making a movie that they made a career and made a living out of it. And man, Evil Dead 2 is without a doubt my favorite film of all time.
Well chosen.
Yeah.
Well chosen
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
That's absolutely groovy. It's amazing, these people that are out there, though, many of whom, I assume you've never met him, right?
I briefly had a run-in with him at Comic-Con last year. Was it last year? Yes. So IGN has a live show. Yeah, I should just explain the fact that I work over at IGN. But at IGN, we have a live show at the Comic-Con, and Bruce and Sam were there to promote Ash vs. Evil Dead. And I had a brief just slide in, run over the guys. And when they were leaving, I basically were like, hey, how's it going? Nice to, thank you very much for doing everything that you do. And it was very brief. seem like very nice guys.
Yeah.
And I've seen Bruce like a million times, like at different kind of events where he just shows off his movies and stuff. And he's Bruce Campbell. He's awesome. But Raimi, like for me, I was like, just seeing that dude like in person was like, that's awesome.
Whoa, that's a real human.
He's a real guy. He's a real man, and he was a real inspiration to me. So, Sam Raimi, thank you for being the man you are today.
Folks that changed their lives. There we go. No, but that is not your thank you for today, because the first question we generally ask.
Huh? Yeah.
No,
that's
Sam
interesting.
Raimi, we'll start. We're going to ride that segue all the way to the public park. That's
right.
Yeah. So, I am going to ask you, Mike, the question that I like to start with every episode until I decide to change it.
Yeah.
Tell me about somebody you're thankful for.
Someone I'm thankful for. Okay, this is an interesting question because I've seen many of your shows.
Yeah.
Actually, seen all of your episodes.
All of them?
Yeah. So I'm a fan.
Aww.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
Aww,
we were supposed to do this like 6 months ago, and I just never had the time to actually do it. So thanks for accommodating. Finally.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Like in my backyard.
Yeah, I like it here. We kind of got that. It's unfortunately a little. We would be in the hot tub, but it's still a little cool.
A little too cold for that. Anyway,
we have to do a hot tub episode.
Yeah. So thankful. That's an interesting question. It's a loaded question because there could be a million different directions.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you want to give that Oscar answer, right?
Yeah,
you stand up there, you thank everybody. But
just
fortunately, the question is never who you're most thankful for. It's just tell me about somebody you're thankful for.
So I'm going to make this real brief, and then I'm going to go to the big one, which is first and foremost, obviously, I'm very thankful for my wife because she makes me a better man every day. So thanks, baby. I'm also thankful, obviously, to my daughter because without her, well, she's awesome, and without her, I'm a very different person now. And my folks, these are all kind of the common, I feel like, answers you normally get. My folks, obviously, for letting me take risky chances to make dumb movies back in the days. So thank you very much for even letting me have those ridiculous thoughts.
Like that classic, Phobia.
Yeah, Phobia, because it'll just change your life.
I want to see Phobia.
You should watch
I'm
Phobia.
excited to watch Phobia.
Okay. It's real scary. No, it's kind of scary. The person I guess I would say that I'm thankful for in this conversation, because I think it kind of, with the classic Ransky thing, I think this is something that inspires that kind of conversation, is a buddy of mine. His name is Tom Seymour. I've known him for, 21 years. And I'm thankful for having him as a friend in my life because I kind of think that without knowing him, I might not be doing what I'm doing now, which is like production and movies and stuff. I would have probably given up on this dream a long time ago. So I could backtrack this conversation and it could be crazy, and I don't want to make this could be a long
You know
episode.
what? Well, it's all right. Sometimes they are long episodes.
Yeah, that's
so
a question.
Let's start here at the beginning. 21 years ago, you said you met this
guy?
guy?
Yeah. It was funny. I was having this conversation with my wife yesterday about this, and I'm like, my God, I've known him for ages at this point.
So how did you meet him?
So funny story is back in, I believe, 95. I'm old as hell. I was working at the movie theaters as an usher and like living what I considered at the time to be my dream job, which was like ripping people's tickets and eating free popcorn. I was doing the usher thing. It was cool. I mean, on your break, you got to watch movies for 30 minutes at a time, which was kind of interesting, but also torturous because you really only got a tiny tease of a movie every time you want to take your break. But it was fun because you got to see.
I am your time for lunch break.
Yep. Basically, yeah. You're like, oh, damn. But anyway, so I was working 95, I believe, and I'm hoping I got this movie correct. I was the buddy to try to get friends into the movie theaters all the time. And I got fired because I got caught letting friends in for free to see Time Cop.
Wait a minute. What? You lost a job because of Time Cop?
Because of Time Cop.
The seminal Jean-Claude Van Damme classic.
The sci-fi classic. Produced by Raimi, by the way, which is, I just realized that.
Sam Raimi produced Time Cop?
Yeah, I believe he was one of the producers on that. Yeah.
Is Time Cop the one where Van Damme jumps between the washing machine and the dryer when the split?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fine motion picture there.
Yeah, it's classic.
All right.
Nothing wrong with it. Trust me, I love Time Cop. No disrespect to you, boy.
I love me some JCVD, but I don't know if you should get fired over JCVD. If anything, I think honestly they should have paid you for bringing more people into the theater.
Yeah. Come on, we're helping out. We're helping the people out. But yes, I did a terrible thing. I got caught, and then I always swore that that from that day before that I would always find a way to get back to that movie theater and put my movie in that movie theater as an FU to that theater.
For firing you for justifiably sneaking people in.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So how did you get caught?
My situation.
Like, did you have them under your coat or something?
Oh, it was the worst. What I would do is we would have big crowds of people coming at a certain point and be ripping tickets, and I just kind of hoped they would kind of slide through as I'm ripping tickets. Now, usually this worked, but in that situation, my boss was like literally in between the crowd and saw me do it and pushed him through. And I got him through, and then he just basically did the whole like the point at me kind of thing and like come over here, and then and then basically brought me in the back room and told me, "Hey, that was bad news. You are fired." And I was crushed. I was a wreck for a while doing that. So anyway, the reason why I explained that is that at that point I didn't really know what to do, and I needed to get a job, and I happened to find this job at Wendy's.
Okay, so you were a crushed man of loose morals.
Yeah.
And you found solace in the comforting square hamburger-shaped arms of Wendy's.
Oh, Wendy's.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, man, there's nothing wrong there.
I love
God.
me a delicious square Wendy's hamburger.
Oh, they're good, man.
All
Big
right.
Bacon Classic. That was
They're
legit.
so fancy.
yeah.
Remember when they used
Classic.
to have the tabletops that looked like old newspapers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
back in the
remember
day.
that.
That was
Yeah, they
weird.
used to like the salad bar and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, the salad bar.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Not good. Don't eat the salad
There's
bar.
something there.
No, don't do that.
Anyway, so I was working at Wendy's, and it turns out Tom happened to be the same guy, happened to apply there also at the same time, and then it turned out him and his buddy, who happened to be turned out to be a very good friend of mine, Phil, were making a public access show. So back in the days when before YouTube, there was a thing called public access.
Public access television.
I
Tell us
know.
more of this wonder.
It's free TV, kids.
It's the thing Wayne's World parody.
Basically, yeah. So
And kids, you don't know what Wayne's World is either, but that's what Mike Myers did before he was Scottish.
I love that.
And you don't know who
doing
Mike
these.
Myers is either, but that okay. We'll
Here's
leave
that.
this
Here's
alone
Shrek.
there.
Anyway, yeah. So
We're so old.
I know. Holy God.
All right, so they had a public access television.
So, yeah.
Explain public access to
Yeah,
our,
so
to our
public
listeners.
access was, and I don't really know the full-on rules of this, but basically in your town, there is a channel that's allowed on a cable, basically on your cable box, that people are able to produce products and shows that they have to televise, obviously to a certain level, but it could be any degree of quality. And
That's true. So you get such hits as Catawba Valley Headline News with Adam Walzer, or Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which was a
Yes.
very popular one on ours.
Oh, really?
The Big Pulpit Church Show.
Okay.
That was on our cable, and of course, my cable access show, which we'll talk no more.
Whoa!
But
Whoa!
let's move. We'll move on to
Things
Mike
have been
Ransky and
revealed
talk
here. I didn't even
talk
know about.
that from later. Yes.
Nice.
That was a dark chapter in my life.
Yeah, I tried to do it for a while too. It was bad. It was bad. I tried to actually. I had my own video game review show, video game and movie review show that was on cable
Are
access.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
Tell me a tape exists.
It doesn't exist. It literally it happened one day and it went up on the air, and that was the very embarrassing point of my life. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to work out. Hence the reason why I haven't put myself back in camera since. So wow, I just realized some tortured parts of my past. Know where it's all come from. Anyway.
Wow. So you met Tom.
Wow. It's all
He
coming back.
was in the
Flashback.
Wendy's. Did he work there? Or
Yeah, he
was
worked
it-
at. So I was registered, and he was a chef.
Okay.
They were just basically the dude who flipped those burger patties. And
Made
kind of
those
stuff.
fancy square hamburgers.
Yeah, he made the fancy burgers. And
Okay.
so it turns out me and Tom one day on a break, Tom found out that I had made a short with my buddies that had been going around school. It was just basically a movie, by the way, that was made with 2 VCRs and a boombox. And
I like 2 VCRs and a boombox is going to be my new German prog rock group.
and so he was doing this thing called Pungent Fun, and they were making there was a weekly cable access show that was actually kind of popular at the time, and it was a bunch of skit-based stuff, and it was silly. But he had me go over to his place, and it turned out that these guys were doing it. And they got a little success doing it with fans, so it was kind of neat to see. And then they went on to make. So basically, he had seen it. We had made a little short that they went on to make a little short. They had this thing called Money Run, and I helped them out with that. And then,
And now, when it comes to helping out at
Yeah.
this point, it's just like, hey, I used to work at the movie theater before I fell from my high pinnacle in the motion picture industry in disgrace, and now I'm gonna lend a hand. Or was it just like, hey, we're friends. We work at the restaurant. Can I help you make your movie?
Yeah.
Or was it
It's
that
that
you
one.
had some technical know-how? Or
it was.
what was it?
I think it was basically that. I mean, it was basically that we were just like, "Hey, you're doing this. I'm doing this. Okay, let's just kind of work together and do this. This will be fun, you know."
Had you mastered the delicate art of editing on 2 VCRs at that point?
I guess so, kind of. I mean, he had a contraption that he got from the cable access place that actually helped cutting with 2 VCRs. It was a little bit more high profile than we had at that point. So I was like, oh man, you got a switcher and stuff like that. Stuff was real high end stuff for me.
So what was this programming like? What were you making?
I mean, his stuff was just skit stuff, which is goofy kind of SNL.
Like sketch
kind of-
comedy
Yeah,
type
his thing was a talk show. It was a talk show that would cut the skits, basically. That was done in his basement of his parents' house.
Okay.
And so we did that, and it was cool because it was at that point I'm like, oh wow, someone else is doing this. I'm not the only crazy person in town that's actually trying to make a movie, and we're just trying to do production at that point. So it turned out that he did that, and then he did Money Run, and I helped him out with that, and that was really, it was funny, and it was done really well at the time for me. I was like, this is great, this is fantastic.
How old were you about this time?
Ah, man, this was 96. Oh my God. So I guess it was like 20 years ago, at least. But I mean, I was doing movies and stuff before
so you were
that
like
point.
high school, college age.
This was right out of high school.
Okay, right out of high school.
Yeah.
It's a perfect time to be fooling around with a video camera.
Yeah.
Was it just like an SVHS camera or something?
This was, oh man, I think this was like a high 8, Video 8 thing. I think this was video. His was Video 8 was the first one, and then we upscaled to high 8 for the actual feature that we actually got together and made at that point.
And this feature, tell us about this.
So we did after we did Money Run, he did Money Run, and then I realized I was doing my thing and he was doing his thing. And I was in college doing production at that point, so I was actually doing some shorts myself also. And we wanted to do a thing. He wanted to do a feature, and I was like, that seems insane. But he was determined to just do whatever it takes to start doing this. So he actually got into production and started working on this feature, which was a movie that was it was called, it was Thrill Kill Jack in Hale Manor.
Thrill Kill Jack in Hale Manor?
In Hale Manor. Okay.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's a heck of a title. I reference Hale Manor a lot to these days because that was actually what we called our production company for a while after that.
How does Hail?
HALEMANOR. Hale Manor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Hale Manor.
Yeah. So he went forward and did this, and basically the concept was, and I thought it was kind of genius at the time, was he was like, we wanted to make a live action feature of Dragon's Lair, kind of the way Dragon's Lair is, where you basically go to scene to scene to scene, when it randomly is just throughout this castle.
You mean like Don Bluth's Dragon's Lair?
Yeah. The arcade game.
Dirk the Daring.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the way that works, right? It's a random scene and then another scene, and you react to that.
Yeah.
Reach it in the next scene.
Yeah. So
he's trying to make this.
So the idea was that. So Tom came up with the idea that, like, look, we will shoot this movie where it's a generic enough plot where our character, Thrill Kill Jack, has to go into Hale Manor to rescue his gun, or some mythical gun or whatever that is like his family heirloom.
Every time you say Hale Manor, I keep thinking of Hail Mary. I don't know why. All right, please continue. I was just like, please continue.
Yeah. No, but so basically the idea was that we could always shoot, like every night, or when we would get together, we would shoot another scene that was another room in the house.
Okay.
So that we could get it to the point where we could actually have a full-on feature movie. The real goal was just to get to a 70-minute at least feature-length movie and see if we could actually attempt to do this.
Is it longer than Dumbo? Okay, it's a feature.
Yeah,
exactly.
Valid point.
Right,
If we get past Disney, then we win.
Right.
We did this. We made that film.
And you made it.
We did. It was a heck of a film. One day you might all see it, but I have not released that to the public yet. Actually, I think maybe Tom actually has it out there. But
so Thrill Kill Jack in Hale Manor.
Yep.
Is maybe out there somewhere?
Yeah, I think if you look on YouTube, but I'm sorry if you did, because you shouldn't, because it's real bad.
What makes it awful?
It's just like, we're a bunch of dudes like making our first little movie for nothing, and it was just meant to be goofy and fun, and it was.
Now I'm going to roll back for a minute.
I'm also shirtless in a couple scenes.
I think wow, okay, that's amazing. So we've learned a lot about the mutual love you guys had, and learned about, in addition to your love for fine, high quality square hamburgers and low budget filmmaking.
Yeah.
What's motivating Tom? What kind of guy is Tom at this point when you meet him that makes him want to make public access shows and feature length movies out of his basement?
Well, I think it's the same thing that I had, which was basically that we wanted to make movies, and in Connecticut it's not really a thing.
The thriving Connecticut film
industry? So it wasn't a thing, and this was in the mid 90s, this was in the era of Clerks and El Mariachi and Pulp Fiction. We were in the zeitgeist of like the big Sundance world at that point.
Well, let's talk about that for people that don't have the context for that time period, because I've had younger friends that watch Clerks and go, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that there just hadn't been anything like that before.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, particularly El Mariachi and Clerks, the effect that those had on inspiring people to go out and try to make movies?
Yeah. It was a really interesting era. Spike Lee was doing stuff that was fantastic, and then he basically influenced a lot of these guys to start doing these kind of things. And like Clerks and El Mariachi were made for, hence the Raimi part. Actually, that's interesting. It was like movies made for very little to nothing. But it was really interesting messaging, and it was stuff that people hadn't seen before, and the independent scene was really thriving at that point. Sundance was a really kind of a thing at that point, and it was kind of where the mainstream cinema has basically gotten to the point where the common Joe who can make a movie and make it something and grab an audience, there was something there, and it was just interesting. Like El Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez, if you know, I mean, he went on to do Spy Kids and For Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado, obviously.
Yeah, the whole Desperado series,
yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of other stuff.
Yeah,
he did Sin City. He did.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was an interesting time just because you could see that there is the hope that you could do this for very little, and be able to tell a really interesting story in a movie. There was this, and the stories of like Kevin Smith did all his credit cards, and then Machi did it with Rodriguez did it with just giving blood.
Yeah, Rodriguez locked himself in a medical research facility for several weeks and like let them take staples out of his skin and wrote the script and then produced the movie with the money, which I think was like $6,000 American dollars. Something insane, because it was going to be. He had originally designed it for like Central, or it was either Mexican or South American television.
Yes.
That was what he was shooting for.
Yeah.
And then it just blew up.
It became it became the story. It became like, the miracle story of cinema at that point, where everyone's like, oh, wait a minute, this is something, you need to check this out,
Yeah, El Mariachi, I adore. I actually love Rodriguez's crew. Rebel Without a Crew.
Oh, it's a fantastic book. We made Thrill Kill Jack, and we actually at that point did the feature and decided to rent out a hotel. And so we rented a conference room at a hotel and actually sold tickets on the streets in Connecticut. And
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Did you sell the place out?
We filled it up pretty good, actually. It was pretty good. But I mean, there's a lot of friends and family.
So you did better. You did better than Emma Stone in La La Land.
yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers.
La La Land spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
Or behind.
Yeah, great movie, by the way. Yeah, so that happened, and then we were like, oh, okay, this is interesting. We made a movie, we did that. We self-distributed the movie, and then we actually thought we had an actual distribution for the film at one point, which was, God, man, if some company bought that movie, I'm sorry.
Somebody bought it?
No, but there was like a slight chance of distribution for the film, for like a small chance of it.
Yeah.
Because at the time, like, that was, and in the era where a lot of movies were being picked up that were very tiny, because they want to get them on the shelves of video
People
stores.
would take shots at it, right? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and so they were taking really small wins at them by doing that. And then, so that book, Rebel Without a Crew, became kind of an influence for us to make what became basically our next big. We made a feature film on 16 millimeter. Using a lot of the rules that we had learned from that book. So
that was part of what made that book so great, was that toolbox. It was just like, here's how to make a dirt cheap movie technically.
Yeah.
He just goes into exquisite detail.
Oh, it's awesome.
Here's how to buy stuff at the hardware store to get good lighting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What I mean, that was the other thing. That's true. Like everything he did was so limited, like in scope, like that it just did the trick. Like he had enough to tell the story and get people interested enough that it didn't have to be like the prettiest polished thing in the world, but it had to have an interesting idea. And it was like the idea was stories more important than the flash of budget. And I mean, we're at a time now where that's pretty apparent. That's been obviously.
So what does Tom bring to the production? What's he good at when you're working on making a low budget movie with Tom? What's he good at?
I mean, he's everything. Like, to me, like, for Tom, like me, we're kind of like shared brains when it came down to it. We discovered that we're both very kind of instinctual. We wanted to, like, again, we both wanted to make movies and stuff together, but like he wanted to understand little different details about technical stuff that I didn't know, and then I learned those from him, and vice versa. And we just became kind of like him, and our good friend Phil, the one that did Punch and Fun with him.
Yeah.
We became kind of a team. We call ourselves the Hill Manor Collective, when we just basically became a brain trust where we would work together and building all these projects. But Tom was always kind of a guy that was like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this no matter what, and just keep driving. So he had his drive is like insane when it comes to, like, I have a drive, but his drive was distinct in the fact that no matter what, he would just still do it and keep doing it. And like his career, like Tom has gone on to just do a lot more movies than I've done over my time. And it's because he's got such an awesome drive. And
where did the drive come from?
I have no idea.
Really?
I don't know. I think it's just the idea that he just wanted to keep making movies, and just that was something that was keeping him motivated. And I think that's a huge part of what kept me going a lot because of that.
What's Tom's favorite movie?
Oh my God, I mean, me and him love Shawshank, so we're giant Shawshank guys, and like that's probably the most atypical question you say for favorite movie kind of thing. But like, Evil Dead's mine, but yeah, I guess, I mean, Shawshank I think would be his film, maybe Blade Runner, or I don't know. Actually,
what's a movie everybody else loves that Tom hates?
I mean, Tom hates any kind of. I mean, he's really not big on big studio movies. I mean, like he just doesn't like big kind of flashy polishy kind of. Especially, he hates movies that are about the Hollywood system. He really hates that.
What's a movie that's about the Hollywood system? Like what's?
Oh man, I don't even know. I mean, I could talk about like The Player or.
Is there a chainsaw going off behind us?
What is happening back here?
There's absolutely a chainsaw happening in the background of
Wow.
our podcast
That's
right
right.
now.
Well, I mean, I'm going to talk about horror movies because that makes sense, right? I hope that's okay. This is what happens when you do a podcast out in nature.
This
You
is
get
what
a
happens.
guy-
This is this is podcasting in the raw. This right here. This is the rebel without a crew of podcasting. This is what happens when you keep it real outside the studio system, man.
You
That's
never
what we're
know
doing.
what's going to happen. Suburbia.
Hi, everybody. So, in the end, Chainsaw Guy won. He just kept coming back over and over and over. We have taped so many parts of this show, and Chainsaw Guy has always walked back in. In the end, Ash from Evil Dead 2 really did win. We lost. The chainsaws won out, as chainsaws often do.
They do.
I mean, chainsaws went, rock, paper, scissors, chainsaw. Chainsaw beats all three.
Yep.
Although, if you hit a chainsaw with a rock, you could bounce back and cut your chest open. So,
It's true.
yeah, actually, don't do that. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
So we've recorded this so many times that we finally gave up and moved inside to the classic Aransky kitchen set, which you can see more of at classicaransky.com and purchase fine classic Aransky kitchen accessories.
Right. Why not?
Like
Even
the
it sort of
classic
exists,
Aransky,
but why not?
the toaster press of your face, the copper pots you can hang
Wow.
from the ceiling.
God, that'd be frightening.
What, a toaster press of your face?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you have a nice face, but I don't think I'd want to eat toast that had your face on it.
I mean, I would eat. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I have this one that puts Jesus on toast.
The what?
Yeah, I have a toaster press that puts like Jesus face on toast.
Really?
Yeah, it was a gift.
That's awesome.
Anyway, anyway, that's holy toast.
Holy toast.
Moving on from that weirdness, but we've actually kind of lost track of where we are in this part of the story. So we think that the part where we left off was Rebel Without a Crew.
Yep.
We were talking about Robert Rodriguez's wonderful book and how that had a role in inspiring you guys to make a feature-length movie in 16 millimeter.
Yeah.
You and Tom and your friend Phil.
Yeah. The Rebel Without a Crew was such an important book for us because it kind of taught us the early rules on how to kind of make a film with very little money, and we're like, we did it once, we did a feature, let's do it again, but this time let's do it with film because that seems like a good idea.
And so that's what you went with.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, we did, and it was it's a very expensive transition from video. At the time, we had shot the first thing on high 8.
When you say a very expensive transition, now
Yeah.
you wanted to do this on low budget, yet you went for an extremely expensive camera. How did you accomplish this?
Yeah, well, we shot this at that Aton 16 millimeter. I think it was Super 16, maybe it was Super 16, and we had to acquire the camera, and it's not easy to get a camera like that cheap. So we decided we were going to rent it, but we were not in a college that could rent that kind of camera. So we decided to go across our state to another state and rent a camera with saying that we were students at that college. But
So you went to a college you weren't students of and said you were students at that college so you could rent the camera?
Yeah.
So you were a criminal.
Well, hey, to each his own.
Okay, so not only do you sneak friends into movies, but also you rent cameras from places that you're not a student.
Yes.
So you really are kind of a film criminal.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
All right, wow.
I like film criminal. That sounds
Film
cool.
criminal. All right, so you're a film
Yeah.
criminal. For more from filmcriminal.com. See, all right, there we go. I'm going to lock that URL down.
Done.
All right, so you actually went and rented this from a place you had no right to rent it, which
Yeah.
got you a really nice, expensive camera on the cheap. So there you go. Don't do that at home, guys, ever. And then you found other ways through Rebel Without a Crew and other innovations to make this film inexpensively. But 16 is not an easy format to work with.
No.
What are some of the technical problems? Because in this age of digital filmmaking,
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of people are unfamiliar with just how much of a pain working with old film really is.
16 millimeter is very expensive. It's a very expensive, and I mean, film as a whole is very expensive, but it's a very tricky format to work with also because it can be exposed very easily.
Okay.
It can be exposed in many different directions. Like if you're using your eyepiece when you're actually rolling the camera, if you take your eye off the eyepiece, it actually can expose light into the film, which actually blows out the film itself
Through the eyepiece.
through the eyepiece.
Wow.
Yeah,
See, I had no idea. I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Once you learned a lot of these things. By the way, we were not really trained on film. We just learned this stuff kind of on our own. Like that's another thing crazy about it too is we basically just like self-trained ourselves to work on 60 millimeter film.
Okay. So did you lose like a big batch switching a cartridge in the middle of the day one day?
Well, I mean, we got like slightly exposed one time. Like that's another thing crazy too. Like when you have to take a cartridge off, You take it and you put it into a black bag. You have to change it and then put it into the canister. Now, all these things have to happen without you seeing it. You're just like, okay, I hope this is all working. By the end, we got a little better at doing that. But in the beginning, it was an absolute nightmare. And yes, it did kind of do a couple exposure things. And then the only way we found that out was that we had to get the film developed. And it takes a good, I don't know. I mean, like it took us about a month to get it developed because honestly, we were really low budget, and so we didn't have a lot of money to pay to get it developed. So it was a very slow trickle of getting our film back. And when we got it back,
so you had to wait like a month on your dailies.
Yeah, basically.
So you didn't know what you had filmed. You didn't know what you had in the can.
That was absolutely super stressful. The worst stress of my life. Hence the reason why like I'm so happy to work in video these days because of that. Because it's that like film looks awesome. The texture of film is fantastic, but unfortunately the trade-off is. Well, the trade-off is just that. Like, you don't know what you're dealing with, really, at all times. And you could come back and we could have half the film blown up, you know? I mean, it's crazy. Like, you think about it back in the days, like, you worked on a giant studio movie and something like that ever happened. Like, you just exposed a certain chunk of it. Wow.
Time to go film the robot shark again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and the amount of
Scary,
money.
right?
Just like a day where you lose your film. It'd be incredible.
That's insane.
I assume it's happened. I mean, it has to have, just with how delicate the format is.
Yeah,
I guess that's why viewers. And also, apparently, you can't fit a lot of film in a cartridge. So you got to change a lot.
Yes.
And that always risks exposure. And so you're dealing with all these new headaches, but despite the fact you're working with a new format and that you guys are literally starring in your own movie and you're learning to use all the audio recording and you're doing the editing in a basement.
Yeah, we're doing it in my parents' basement. We did it with like a really kind of on first like one of the first or second generations of Premiere. We cut this thing. We cut it.
So you were doing digital editing.
We're doing digital. Yes, we transferred all the film stock to digital so that we could at least use it that way.
Wow. So you were cutting edge.
That's right. We're high tech. Yeah.
This is what, like 97?
This was like around that time.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were trying our best because that was the cheapest way of doing it. Because I mean, cutting to reel is absolute nightmare.
Right. So you transferred, cut it down to. I'm assuming you're cutting it down to I don't know. Would it be 480p at that point? No, it's different screen format. So I don't know what that format would be.
Great question. I got to go back to look at some of this stuff. I think we have because the final's like on a Betamax SP or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
A Betacam SP. Sorry. But yeah, we edited it for like 8 months in my parents' basement with. Audio recorded on a mini DV, and then it resync all that. We didn't have any cool software that kind of automatically syncs stuff based on sync claps. So that was a nightmare for us. We just had postcards everywhere trying to figure out exactly where things were supposed to be and how they all synced up.
But in the end, you had a movie. What was it called?
It was called, I'm sorry, we never even said the title of the movie. It's called Everything Moves Alone.
Everything Moves Alone.
It was a comedy drama.
And wow, so very big departure from the kind of pulpy B movie you were doing before.
Yeah, totally.
And was it any good?
It was something. It was something. I mean, that's the thing. It's always hard. Like, it's always tough to be like critical about like your own films. At the end of the day, like you always see the faults in it. So,
was Tom happy with it?
Tom was happy with it. Phil, my buddy, was happy with it. We worked together. We called ourselves the Hill Manor Collective, where we worked together on all these projects. And I mean, we're all really happy with this project. I mean, so happy is that when we got screened, we actually did another screening. Unlike the hotel this time, where we actually got a college. It was called like Cine Studio. And
did anybody come?
We had a great showing. We had a decent show turnout for that, which was pretty cool.
So you kind of do like the Emma Stone and La La Land thing, like you are in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers.
You're in theater.
Yeah. We kind of did that, and the way we did that, and a couple days later, we did get the phone call from a critic from Film Threat.
Oh,
Film Threat was a pretty well-known publication at the time. They were well known for having reviewed. Kevin Smith's like Clerks in one of the early stuff, like basically exposing him to the general public, and so it was kind
of
very
a
awesome.
part of that whole green light culture that was going on.
Yeah. That Sundance World was happening, and we got to be a part of that, so it was cool. And they liked the movie so much they gave it 4 stars, and then they actually put us on like their top 10 films you haven't seen this year, like a list.
Wow.
And it was really cool. It was awesome. And then that critic actually repped the movie and got it out to some screenings in New York.
Okay.
And that was really cool, and that exposed us to a lot of bigger reviews, and we actually got a review from the New York Times.
You got a film reviewed in the New York Times.
Yeah, it was cool, and I feel like this is like bragging. I hope I'm not.
No, it's not bragging at all. You're telling a story, but that's okay. So yeah, again, not that I'm Mr. Film, but I know enough about any kind of criticism to know that a New York Times film or book criticism is a big deal. Just showing up is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it must have been stunning for you guys.
It was cool. It was awesome. We actually got the New York Times as we were on the train going to see our screening in New York, and it was reviewed by Elvis Mitchell, who at the time was a pretty well respected critic, and he did not like the movie so much.
Oh.
Yeah, he gave us a review saying we were kind of the backwash of Bottle Rocket and Clerks, which are, by the way, two films I love. Bottle Rocket, like literally on the top 5 of like favorite, well, maybe top 10 favorite films of all time for me.
So it's that backwash part that was lost.
It's the backwash. Yeah, so that kind of hurt me a little. So it was one of those things. The screenings in New York went okay. We didn't get much of a distribution. We got a little distribution, like little picks on distribution, but nothing ever blew out of the film. So we were like close. We thought we were real close, and then it just didn't think. And
what
so,
was it like for you? Getting that close and then seeing that high-profile critical rejection followed by not picking up distribution.
It was tough. It was real hard. It really took a big hit out of me for a while. I kind of didn't really know if it was worth keep doing these movies because there's a lot. I mean, that movie was a year and a half of like our lives making that movie, as all movies are. If you make a feature film, by the way, you basically are living a feature film.
Right, and you were still working a day job this whole time, too,
yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
So what were you doing at this point? What was Tom doing?
I think Tom might have, maybe he was at CBS or maybe at Denny's. I don't really remember.
I like that CBS or Denny's are the two choices.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think I was either...
No offense to either outlet.
Yeah,
like, those are not two places
difference.
that I think of in exactly the same sentence. So.
Yeah. I believe, yes, I mean...
And you were where?
I was at ESPN, I think, at that point.
No, wait. I want to follow this track. You went from getting fired from the movie theater to Wendy's to ESPN?
Yeah. Well, no, there's a lot in between that.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. You're bouncing between.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, there was a Wendy's, and I think then I've had, I don't know, I could literally name like 25 jobs in my life I've had. Like I've had an insane amount of jobs. I can't remember exactly what I was before that point. I mean, I was selling TVs. I was, I don't even know.
Did all kinds of things.
God, this is weird. It's like digging into my brain. It's like I don't remember.
That's all right. So you're disappointed about how did Tom respond to the criticism and the reception and not getting the deal?
He took it probably a little bit better than I took it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all took it a little hard at the time because we just hoped for the best and kind of that criticism based. Hitting like small filmmakers with negative criticism really does hurt. Especially when you don't have a lot to live off of, and that's when you get that big moment, you're like, "Oh, cool," But like, it's
we're close. This could happen.
Yeah, but whatever, it happens. That's what criticism is. You take it, you leave with it, right? And I think I learned a great lesson from criticism based on that, just alone. So that
what was that lesson?
I mean, just the fact is, I mean, at the time, I took the criticism very hard, and then I was like, all right, well, we're good. I think I've done my thing. I got my review in the New York Times. I'm gonna just move on with my life and figure out something else to do. And I think. Knowing that was a hard experience to know that was going to take me down. I'm like, no, it can't take me down. But the thing that really kind of drives me back, and this is the one I'm thankful for Tom conversation, is that we went out. He tried to push us to go for our next project. We had talked about doing something, and I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm into it anymore. And Tom went to the point of level where he wrote the script. He wrote the script for the other films that we had done up to that point also. And then literally his centerpiece in this new film was this like mystical well, and the film is called Land of College Prophets, by the way. So just to give a little more context on it, and I'll explain what it is in a minute. But basically, like he made this well in the backyard of his parents' house, and we were not really like, yes, we're gonna jump in and just do this thing. We were kind of like, I don't know. But Tom was so motivated to do it that he just went and bought himself to build this giant set piece.
Okay.
And
so he actually physically constructs a
physically correct, made a well, like dug a hole, like a gigantic hole, and did this thing. And he was just so driven to do that I was like, all right, we got to do this thing, I guess, because Tom
dug a big hole. We might as well make a movie.
We should probably do this at that point.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So,
did he ever explain to you why? Just like, I'm just doing this?
I'm just going to do it. I mean, like I said, like my biggest thing about Tom has always been that, well, I'm thankful for, him as my friend, but also thankful for him as just, what he does is that he's just so driven and he just keeps going no matter what.
What is this guy like when he's not making movies? What else does he do?
I think he's going crazy if he's not making movies.
Really? That's his thing?
Yeah. I mean, he's been making movies no matter what budget, he just keeps doing it, which I fully respect that. Like, and I've been doing that too, but I'm not, my level is, my where I go and where he goes is different directions when we go and making these movies, because he's so driven and passionate in this project that he was just like, I'm doing it. And I'm like, I don't know. And I think I was just beat down from the criticism, but over time, like he kind of won me back, basically.
And so he won you back by digging a big hole. You ended up making another movie. This one about...
It's like it's a superhero movie before the big kind of Marvel blowout. You know, like it was like a college, like a low-level superheroes in a community college.
That sounds sublime.
Yeah, it's a fascinating movie. It's a very
like
strange.
So this is the Tom, Mike, and Phil cinematic universe.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, like it's a really strange genres we jumped from.
And there's a giant well in it. Apparently.
Yeah, there's a giant haunted well.
So he digs a well. So did you guys produce another movie in 2016?
No, that one was not in 2016. So that was actually where the evolution of we were so, after shooting that thing in 2016, we were like, please God, let's never do that again. It was like one of those things, you check it off. We shot and film. Good. All right, we're never gonna do that again if we don't have to. And Panasonic had come out with its first 24p camera.
Okay.
And I forgot I think it was 100A, 100B or something like that. I forgot the actual title of that camera.
But you guys
But
got your hands
it
on
looked like film.
Yeah.
I remember going to New York to B&H and just looking at that camera and going, oh my God, it's like film in a video camera.
Which must sound ridiculous again to some of you, but understand that once upon a time in a world where there was no YouTube,
yeah,
things were put on film and then transferred to video. And when they were transferred to video, almost invariably, they looked, because of compression or because of the fact that we were viewing them through the primitive internet, they looked grainy. They looked less good.
Yeah.
The idea that you would take something and the quality was indistinguishable seemed almost miraculous.
Yeah.
It was something that you knew was going to happen in the future. Mm-hmm. But then one day the future arrived.
Oh, it's awesome.
And you were like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It happened, and it happened quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw still photography that was indistinguishable from film, and just being like, wow, I knew this was coming, but now it's here.
Yeah.
And it did open up the world. It is a lot easier from a technical standpoint to make low-budget movies now, I think, than it was because of this advancement.
God, man. I mean, I just cannot explain how much of a difference that world has been now after that. Like, that's why I do my thing now. Because I'm like, I literally realize I can do my own thing here, and I don't need to worry about, I can get a small camera. It costs me a few $100 and I can make my own series. Thank you, YouTube, giving us a platform to do these things. But back in the days, like, those things didn't exist, you know?
There was no way to do it. There's no way to distribute it. There's no way to edit it. There's no way to record it. There's no way to
it
light
was
it.
a lot of struggling, but cool, because at the time, like, when you did do it, people were like, oh my God, how'd you do that?
Yeah, that's true. It was more novel, and you had a smaller market, which meant if you pulled it off, you had a better chance of getting noticed. Totally. By the way, I want to thank all of you again for making this possible for me. This is a very shoestring operation. I realize my cinematography and my audio are lousy, but you stick with me, and I thank you for it. I also want to encourage you, man. Guys and gals, if you want to make something, go make it. Just go make it,
please,
and then show it to smart people who you trust. Get criticism, and then try to make it better.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to do with this. And good or bad, I'm always open to your thoughts on the direction of the show. So mail at pocketsfullsoup.com and let us know how you want things to go.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You got to issue your mailing address. That's smart.
Yeah, mail at pocketsfullsoup.com. That's we get
one day. I'll do one of those.
You really should.
Yeah, it's
handy. And also you get great stories. It's very encouraging.
Wait,
people write me these incredibly encouraging letters. It's really helpful.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also noticed you guys have like a really awesome Facebook group.
Facebook group is really nice people.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Anyway, sorry.
So we like y'all. Thank you again. But so you make this. Yeah. Rather than go through the entire catalog, let me ask you this.
Oh, yeah. We can keep going forever on this. I'm sorry.
When did you and Tom stop making movies together?
Yeah, basically, I did Land College Press with Tom. It was great. We got success. We actually got that film distributed. It got full-on distribution. Yeah.
Really? Oh, no, let's hear about that. I want to hear that. Wow. So you guys got distributed.
So we actually got distributed by York Entertainment, and which means we got on shelves of like Blockbuster and Hollywood and stuff like that. Yeah, it was really cool. And
how was the
Hollywood Video, not Hollywood.
How was the box art?
It was cool.
Yeah?
It was really cool, yeah.
Land of College. Can I own Land of College Profits on VHS?
Yes. I don't have VHS. I only have DVD.
You may have just gone to DVD.
Yeah.
So you guys got distributed on a straight to DVD.
Yes. Yeah.
That's lovely.
It was awesome. We were like on their like new brand for like indie film, like cult film brand thing or something like that.
It turned out well. So Tom and you and Phil got a film distributed. It happened.
It happened. We didn't make a dime, but it was cool.
But you did. Okay. Yeah. Now tell people about how that works. How do you get a film distributed and not make a dime?
Oh boy. I mean, you're opening so many doors of conversations here. And I
Let's hear
apologize.
it.
You must have the most epic episode going on right now. So
Well, I mean, it's the chainsaw. It seems more epic to us because we've done it 3 times.
it probably is. Yeah. Well, we got distribution, and then it was awesome. It got on the shelves and all that kind of stuff. But if you ever really saw any money, we never saw any money. In fact, the movie got like internationally distributed. Which, by the way, we didn't really know. We discovered this as we went like looking through Google and found like international versions of the movie. So there's like I think a Russian version and stuff like that, and which I still want to find it to this day because I just want to know if it's like has a fake VO track on top of it, you know?
Yeah.
But what I wanted, the film we never saw money because we didn't see anything off the front end, and the back end means that basically they'll spend all the money in marketing, and all that money will basically, if you ever get anything past the marketing budget, then you'll actually make money off it. But we never saw a dime. So we really don't know exactly what happened, but because we know it got international distribution and whatnot. So
you're like, hey, shouldn't we have made some money off this at some point?
Yeah.
It never happened. Was that disappointing?
It was disappointing, but it's like that's the hard reality of making movies I've come to accept is that unless you become Robert Rodriguez, like he didn't make money off that first movie, you know, like you need to kind of the level in which you finally start making some big money back is like a pretty excessive level.
Do you think Sharknado made money?
Probably. Sharknado is a different conversation. Yeah. That's it for another episode.
What about Mega Shark? What about Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus?
That one I don't know. I mean, I think wasn't that a Corman classic? Because I think Corman movies just dude, that's genius.
I love Roger Corman.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, we'll have to do Roger Corman talk sometime.
We got the entire different show.
Yeah, all right. I love Roger Corman.
It's great.
That's another great book. Okay.
Well, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so rather than go down Film Geek Land here,
sorry.
You and Tom eventually did part ways professionally, though.
We did because what happened was that Tom kept moving forward, and I got opportunities to work at I got opportunity to work at 30 Rockefeller Plaza at NBC. Okay. For NBC at their digital studios level. So where I left from film, I went to go do video for the internet.
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to work at digital studios, and there we did a lot of like original programming and stuff like that. Did something called The Easter Bunny Hates You that became like a big viral hit through NBC. And
I remember that.
So it made me kind of realize that my platform was a place where the internet, I like the instant satisfaction of reaction.
Yeah.
More than kind of making movies and waiting time to get reaction from people.
Yeah.
So it became kind of all right, I'm going to step back and I'm going to do just this and focus on doing the internet content stuff. Because I was like YouTube. YouTube was starting to happen when I was at NBC Digital Studios.
So how does the quick and dirty of like dailies on an independent film translate to the kind of quick and dirty of producing web content, which is generally done pretty quickly?
Oh, it's the best. It's like quick and dirty is that you literally have the instant reaction. You see it and like as soon as you record it. So
wow, okay.
Oh, it's so good. It's like the feedback when you get a video up there and you get reaction right away, there is nothing. It was an epiphany. It was like this kind of like my brain just opened up as soon as the moment happened. I put when the Easter Bunny Hates You became like a thing for us at NBC Digital Studios. Because that thing has gone on to do billions and billions of views. If you look up at every Easter, like there's a new one that gets ripped all the time. And once that happened and saw just like people just sharing it and communicating with it and liking it and passing it around. I was like, I get this. I like this. Then I was like the early kind of internet. I was like pre-internet before internet kind of became like for video became like a typical thing nowadays. And so for me, that really worked for me and it filled that void. Tom, on the other hand, went on to keep making movies.
Okay.
And like I actually helped because I was working at NBC. I was able to, I had extra money at that point to help out. So I actually helped fund his next movie because I didn't have, and other friends obviously helped out too. This is pre-Kickstarter, obviously.
Yeah.
And that let him move on to make his next big project.
So you actually produced?
I produced at that point. Yeah, I basically got some produce. At that point, I became more of a producer and less of a director.
So is Tom actually making a living making films now, or is it still something he's doing out of joy?
It is. Truth be told, he's still doing it more out of joy. Wow. It's like he's gone on to do a bunch of films. He did like the Bikini Bloodbath trilogy, and he did. He actually, the last one, which I'm very proud of him for, is he got distributed through Troma. which I love Trauma. So me and him grew up just big Trauma fans, and he did a documentary called VHS Massacre, which is like about the end of the VHS industry and like, you know, the physical media industry basically. And so he went on to do that documentary, and that got distributed, and it's awesome. And he has kept doing this, and in hopes of doing that. And I went back and made movies a few years later after that, but not with Tom, actually, with another friend of mine, Rory, with the Phobia movie.
Yeah.
And that one became more of a, Rory basically was on me for years, and we had just been talking about this project, and then we're just like, okay, we should just do this thing. And I'm like, I want to help you, and I will help you EP this thing and get your script locked, and then I'll be the cinematographer. As we shot Phobia for freaking 6 months on weekends and keep shooting this thing right after I got married, by the way. So that's an easy way to get close to divorce, where you start as soon as you get married. My wife's very supportive.
Is to work a full-time job, get married, and decide you want to make a movie on the side.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that was unwise.
Yeah, it was a very bad idea. But yes, anyway, but yeah, but Tom has done on to do that, and that's why I'm so thankful for the fact that Tom is so driven, and seeing that keeps me going. I mean, he actually does a podcast called New York Cine Radio, which is like another podcast out there.
Oh, what's this podcast? What's called?
New York Cine Radio.
Okay, New York Cine?
Cine, like Cine, like Cine. Like
okay, like Cine. Okay, New York Cine Radio. Yeah. You can check out VHS Massacre. VHS, is it VHS Massacre?
Yeah, that's one from Trauma.
And then the Bikini Bloodbath films.
Yeah.
And a few other things out there.
Yeah, he's got in London,
so this is still largely passion for him.
Yes, this is it's a passion for him. And like I said, I'm so thankful because that makes me kind of keep my head in the game still. When we talk from time to time, I go, oh, okay, I want to do this.
You have a rewarding career. You produce video every day. That was that's your job.
Yeah,
that's what you do. And then you come home, and now you're back to making a movie. You and Mike Pereira and who else?
I mean Scarpino's Nick Scarpino, kind of funny guy.
Yeah,
he's helping out with
making a movie together.
Too. Yeah,
so kind of rad. And if you want to follow the process of making that movie, where do you check that out again?
Oh, you can check out classicaransky.com.
Classic Aransky, that's right.
Yeah.
And you got a title for this thing?
For within this new movie?
Yeah.
We have it called Untitled Horror Comedy. We do know the title, but we're just keeping it under wraps a little bit.
Look, aren't you secretive? How coy.
Well, come on. We give it away at all. We're done because it's, there you go.
It's totally Bikini Bloodbath 4.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Yeah, we're going to reboot the franchise. This is a joke me and Tom constantly makes. We're like, let's reboot it.
All right, there we go. Rebooting it. Thank you for telling us about Tom. Now we're going to switch gears here as we do every show and hop on over to Instant Noodles.
Yeah.
Do you have your answers prepared, or did you? I know you watched the show.
I do.
All right.
I think I kind of have it. So let's do it.
I can't do the drum roll. Drum roll. All right, here we go. Hey! Question 1 submitted from the community.
Okay.
Still my favorite community submitted question ever. What is best sandwich?
Oh my God, best sandwich.
What is best sandwich?
Now, when we always talk about sandwich, is it the sandwich or is it the place that makes the sandwich? That's the question I would be on.
Well, they go together sometimes. I mean, sometimes you can only find one. For example, let's talk about the classic Philly sub. All right, so there's the classic Philly sub, which fundamentally is steak, the proper seasoning, cheese whiz, maybe some onions.
Yep, when you get in Philadelphia. We did the whole Gino thing one weekend and went to Philly to do that.
Okay, so the thing is, though, one to another place, they can taste completely different.
Yes.
So I think in a lot of cases, the sandwich plus the shop really does matter.
Because it kind of connects it, right?
So yeah, I think you can answer this question. The nice thing is that we keep a nice, broad, open interpretation here.
Yeah.
As long as it exists between two slices of bread, we're pretty much okay.
Okay.
All right. So,
there's a place, and I actually forgot the name of the place, which is really awful. It was back when I used to live in New York in Astoria. There was this deli, which I believe is actually going to get a cameo in the next Spider-Man movie, by the way. I just saw like pictures. I'm like, oh my God, it's my deli. That used to get these crazy giant subs. And my pick of choice is awful for what I like for a sandwich.
What is it?
This is going to be real gross people out. It's seafood salad sub.
The seafood salad sub.
That sounds awful.
I don't know. What's on it?
I mean, literally, it's just like you get it's your typical kind of like I get hot peppers. I get some mozzarella, seafood salad, like the actual like salad.
No, what is seafood salad?
Like crab meat, imitation crab meat thing.
Okay. Like what goes on a California roll?
Yeah, kind of. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, seafood
Like
sauce.
mayo and
Yeah, yeah.
imitation crab, which is pretty much like fish, right?
Yeah, kind of like it's like not really crab, but just like a fake version
It's
of a
like the
crab.
hot dog of the sea.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so it's a hot dog of the sea
Hot dog
sandwich.
at sea, yeah, mixed with some shrimp and stuff like that. But you mix it up with some sweet peppers, some hot peppers, some sweets and hots, as they
Oh,
like to
that
call
sounds
them.
kind of good.
Yeah,
Sounds kind of good to me.
And their just sandwiches were legit. I think they would call them Mike's sub or something like that.
I don't know.
God, I'm gonna have a lot of problems with this. I was prepared, and then I realized I'm like, I should probably mention the place, and now I'm not prepared.
It's really okay.
If you watch Spider-Man: Homecoming, I guarantee that my place
Don't
is a
worry,
cameo.
just thousands are watching and listening to you choke right now. It's okay. Don't
Well,
worry
I
about it
mean,
at all.
that's my channel. If you watch my channel, that's all I do is I choke, so it's all right. So don't worry about that.
Oh my goodness!
Which is,
that's
by the way,
great.
incredibly funny that we've gone from the chainsaw outside to inside here. 'Cause literally, that's how my show would work. It just falls
well,
apart.
that's how it works. Yeah, this is how this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is believe it or not. I counted it up the other day, Mike. I have between like regular episodes, Pretty Good Day, Patreon episodes, and exclusives, all kinds. Laser Dracula. In the last 6 months or so, I've done like over 45 of these now.
God, really?
And, yeah, and it's just like, wow, it's amazing what happens off camera. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I had the time to cut it all together.
Oh, I know, right?
Just
It's my favorite part of it all. It's just like,
disaster is the order of the day.
yeah. Well, that's what's a beautiful thing about it. Like, YouTube gives you a platform to do, I mean, like,
Yeah.
or Patreon, whatever the place is, but that gives you the platform to be rickety and have craziness happen, and that's fine.
And people are accepting of it, even loving about it. But like everybody makes fun of Kevin at Kind of Funny. Man, that guy has the hardest job in the world.
Oh, dude,
like,
Koala
just
is-
making stuff
my boy.
work, making stuff work in real time with video and audio.
Yeah.
And streaming. There's nothing worse. I just.
Oh, dude, did it?
It's
Kevin's
amazing.
hard as
He's
worker.
great.
Man.
I love him.
my
But
boy.
yeah, he takes so much crap. I want to get him on the show so bad.
Yeah, good point. You should really get him.
Oh,
on
I
there.
want him on
Yeah,
here. I'd say, hey, Coke Kevin, tell him to come on the show, please.
Yeah.
Um,
Just give him a milk.
So-
just propose him a milkshake because he does a milkshake
what I
every
think?
single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. I don't know what's wrong with him. You gotta stop.
that's true. You could end up like Wilford Brimley Cat in that situation.
Yeah, diabetes.
So, all right.
Okay.
What's the best song written in the last 100 years?
Oh man. So this I thought about this one. This is why I love this show because you just have these crazy ass questions.
Well, they're really random.
It is, but it's great. So song, right? This is insane because, and this is an interesting piece of history for me.
Okay.
I grew up not listening to bands. I grew up listening to movie scores because I'm a sick human being who loves movies way too much.
So, like, you got in your car and it was like the soundtrack to Exodus or something instead of like.
Oh no!
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it would be a soundtrack to any single movie that came out at the time. Like scores have gotten kind of a little clunky over time. These recent, my big thing is theme scores. I love theme scores. Oh, it's so
Oh,
good.
okay.
But like, I mean, like as a whole, I mean, any kind of like it's the idea that you can identify quickly when you hear a piece of like theme, just a little thread of music, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's that movie. And that's always my favorite things about scores. And just like as soon as you listen to a score, it automatically transports you to that movie.
Okay.
You could drive and have like the movie playing in your head. It's fantastic. But my favorite score, or at least favorite piece of score of all time, is, and this is going to sound just campy and goofy, but Star Wars main theme will always be my favorite piece of music until the day I die. I mean, like, look, John Williams has written a million awesome themes and scores, but I mean, like, there's nothing beats Star Wars.
There you go.
There we go. I don't know if anyone's ever thrown that kind of stuff on the table because it's usually bands, but for me, that's like, man, every time I hear Star Wars, it just transports me to someplace else.
And that's Mike's pick. Moving on to the next one. Traveling through time.
Yes.
If you could travel through time and meet any one person, who would it be and why?
Man.
Who you want to talk to?
Who would I want to talk
Yeah,
to?
one person you get to see.
Oh, man.
Yep.
I would say, this is, again, man, I'm just this movie junkie. I got to stop
No,
this.
the movie stuff's great.
I would probably meet, it's either two directors. You meet Spielberg or I meet Raimi, right? For two different directions. I wouldn't meet young Spielberg because I want to know how you getting onto the Universal lot is helping you get where you are.
Yeah.
I want to meet a dude who's so driven just to do crazy stuff like
So
that.
you want to meet young Spielberg?
I think so. Yeah. I'm more young Raimi and his boys because I'm gonna be like, yeah, me and my boys are the same way too. This is
What
cool.
if like you
guys are
met
doing
him
stuff in
and then you
Michigan.
derailed their career, like you changed history and
Oh
then you
my
never
God.
made it?
That would just screw me up in the future because all
man.
my love. Well, at least actually no, it'd be fine for me because I have all their.
You have all their
history.
ideas,
So
so you can
screw
just
everyone
take-
else. I win. You all lose. So thanks everybody.
What is the best movie themed board or DVD game?
Or DVD game.
Yeah, you know those like Scene It games or the like board games based on movies. What's
Oh
the
my
best one?
God, this is so fuck. All right. So I have a VHS game.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so this is gonna make you date me. There was this awesome RoboCop VHS game.
There was a RoboCop VHS game?
Yeah, I used to love that game.
I didn't know that. I had VHS games, but I never had the RoboCop.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it was not good at all. It's awful.
Okay, for those who don't know, can you explain VHS games?
Yeah, it was kind of like a random thing where you pop into VHS. I'm trying to remember. It was like a board game, and then you'd have pieces. But then you would hit play, or you'd have to hit pause. Like you basically play the scene,
fast
pause
forward,
it,
right,
fast
pause
forward.
it, yeah.
Yeah, you had to control it via VCR, which is an awful idea. Like you had to go back and forth and watch these clips and be like, "Oh, I landed on here. Oh man, you're gonna see Cohagen and something terrible." No, actually, I'm sorry. That's Total Recall. Man, I'm trying to remember. RoboCop. I'm drawing a complete blank.
If you say it 3 times, he appears.
Yeah. But yes, so it was literally like you just jump in between random scenes of RoboCop, and at the time, like RoboCop was like the mystique R-rated movie that I loved to death because I got to sneak in and watch that movie and forever be grateful for that. So thank you, Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, follow up on that. I was about to go. What's the best Paul Verhoeven movie?
Oh my god, dude. That's a real hard question for me, though. I mean, I guess I have to say RoboCop because RoboCop like broke me as a young boy. So.
RoboCop is sublimely brilliant. Like it just
so
gets
good.
better as the years pass. I
That
think it was
reboot,
great
boy.
then, and it just But
Yeah.
RoboCop is a brilliant movie. I don't think it's as good a movie, but I think I love Starship Troopers more.
Oh, dude, Starship Troopers. I mean, Paul Verhoeven sci-fi is like. I mean, again, this show is going forever because I'll just go on these tangents about this. But Paul Verhoeven like sci-fi movies are the best. Like they're just the best because they have so much like undercurrent kind of themes going underneath them. But it's so they're so interesting and so well designed. Like I love that they try to reboot these things.
Yeah.
I don't understand that because he can't because he was a director that just was like, I'm going to tell you the sci-fi experience. I'm going to give you the sci-fi story that is just a very kind of generic cop turns into a robot, but like, like has this undercurrent thing of just like, it has a lot of political kind of storylines underneath it. It's just terrible that you like old Detroit, new Detroit kind of thing going on. And like, there's so much interesting stuff going on, but the studios just didn't pay attention to that when they wanted to reboot all these. And Total Recall is a great example of that. Like I love the original. I mean, Total Recall is awesome.
Yeah,
it's just awesome. But like, it's one of those things where like they try to do that one, man. Don't even think about it. I mean, you got Quado. Once you got Quado, that is it. You've locked in.
I love Total Recall. That's a brilliant freaking movie. Did you see Black Book?
No, I did not actually.
Okay, I was wondering what you thought since you haven't seen it. That's definitely worth watching. It's a change of pace movie for him. Like it's definitely hey, I'm going to make something a little different, but it's still very much a Paul Verhoeven movie.
I was very interested to check it out but he's kind of like it's always been that kind of weird thing where his other movies outside like Showgirls and stuff like that, but like those other movies have always been kind of like
Showgirls is brilliant in the worst possible way.
Yeah. I mean, what a creepy time to go to the movie theaters and see that movie. Wow, that was a weird time.
That's just him trolling the universe. Like, I feel like Showgirls is a giant, like, movie-sized Andy Kaufman joke on the human race.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. So God. So we're going. I think we're kind of running down this cinema road here.
Yes.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite movie quote?
Oh my God!
Yeah, if
you're throwing these things at me and I'm not prepared.
I know. I'm making this up as I go because we kind of ended up on this film. I'm taking this
absolutely. I'm absolutely biased because it's like Evil Dead 2. My favorite movie is gonna be. It's gonna be groovy. That's literally the quintessential line.
What's that? Say it again.
Groovy.
Oh, there we go. Groovy.
Oh my God, dude! Like that moment is without a doubt that moment when oh my God. That was like a movie that totally jumped for me. It was like, yeah, this movie is the greatest thing ever made.
Who's your favorite working actor, like character actor?
I mean, come on, you're just literally rolling the same. I mean, yeah, favorite character actor like now. I mean, Bruce is like humongous for me as like I'm a huge fan of his work. A lot of his stuff has been all over the place, but man, come on, between Evil Dead and Bubba Hotep.
Moving outside, what's your favorite character actor that's not the star of a Sam Raimi movie?
Yeah, who's not? Because I'm so biased these days. Man, favorite character actor.
Yeah, somebody that's or a working actor, or somebody just you know their face and you see him in everything. But I'm just captivated by folks that manage to do voice work and character work for decades.
Yeah.
And become kind of Hollywood institutions, and yet a lot of times we don't even know their names.
Are we talking about like favorite actor or favorite like actor that can play?
I'm talking about your favorite working actor, somebody who you absolutely recognize,
Yeah.
but that's never ever going to be a headliner.
Oh, interesting.
Somebody that is most likely never going to headline a major motion picture, but that might headline a straight-to-video release, and that you're going to see on Law and Order episodes, and that you're going to see in the background of a AAA blockbuster occasionally playing a character role. Yeah. Somebody like that.
Man, I love Ruffalo, but that's a really interesting question.
Yeah, who's somebody you really enjoy?
Sam Rockwell's I'm a big fan.
Let's talk about Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, I love Sam Rockwell, but like
for people who don't know him,
Sam Rockwell's been everywhere forever. Okay. I mean, come on, he was actually him and Mark Ruffalo were in a movie early on I used to love. It's called Safe Men. It's a comedy. A really awesome comedy. Rockwell has done a lot of movies. I mean, he's like he was in Iron Man 2. I mean, you want to talk about mainstreamy kind of things. But and Galaxy Quest. He was Guy, which was awesome in that.
I love Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. It's such an underrated movie. What a crazy that's the crazy thing that movie never got a sequel. But yeah, he's just kind of like, he's a really good actor. He's really funny. And he's also just a good dramatic actor in that way too. Also, like he just kind of levels out in so many different directions that I find him fascinating. And yeah, I don't think he's ever going to super sell a movie, but I think he's a talent forever that will be kind of like that guy. You put him in a movie, you're guaranteed to get something awesome out of him.
What's the most...
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, by the way. Really interesting movie he was in that I really liked.
What's the most jaw-dropping scene you remember watching in your love of cinema where you just went, whoa, just shocked by what had happened?
Shocked? Like American History
X kind
of
shocked? Yeah, what, maybe. Shocked.
Curb Stomp?
And that can be shocked by, that can be anything from shocked by an effect to shocked by a story twist to shocked by a curb stomp to,
I mean, The Thing is still, it's quintessential to me. Like that movie. I mean, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, again, we can go on forever because Carpenter, as my other, another like director of Love Fest, John Carpenter. Oof, man. That boy, he's a god to me.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
I love that moment. It's so beautiful. I love Carpenter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, just
you gotta be kidding me. But The Thing is awesome. I mean that moment, the basically the blood test moment. Have you seen The Thing? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
But like the blood test moment in The Thing is without a doubt the most. It is the scene that I will never be able to make that scene because it's so tense and so well done that you cannot say it's frightening and suspenseful and just so well designed. And it's crazy that movie came out the same year as like E.T. Like I find it fascinating that those movies are dynamically completely different kind of sci-fi alien movies.
Yeah.
And like how that movie, to me, honestly, like I love E.T. and I put high respect for Spielberg in that movie because it did kind of, like it's very good. I love E.T., but it's a very different kind of version of sci-fi that I reflected back to with then, and I still love to now, but it's on a very different wave, like a different wavelength when it comes to it. But The Thing, man, that movie has grown on me so over time in such a it is that scene though. Man, that scene is so good. If you haven't seen The Thing, go do yourself a favor. Go see it immediately. Go find it anywhere. It's everywhere. So yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, Mike. And Kurt Russell. I want to work. I want to work Kurt Russell because who doesn't want to work with Kurt Russell?
Soon to star is Ego the Living.
I know, man. I'm so jealous of James Gunn, man. James Gunn is like. I mean, I'm gonna do a thing on my show sometime down the road, but how much I love the fact that James Gunn is this trauma guy that's gone on to do a movie now. Who's gonna have, I believe, Stallone is in it, and Stallone and Kurt Russell are in Guardians in some capacity.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're in the same scenes or anything like that. Like they you bringing Tango Cash together.
The cast for Guardians, and then have you seen the cast for Thor 3?
Oh, it's great.
I was like, what?
Oh yeah. Well, the director, by the way, is fantastic.
Why don't they just make Hamlet at this point?
I know. Yeah.
You've got those people.
That director is one of my he's one of the right now to me like on the level like comedy director. You don't get a lot of directors who've directed comedy to the point where you're like I got to see that movie over and over again because it's so funny. Like What We Do in the Shadows became the movie where I would show everybody, like everyone in the office. Yeah. When you're at IGN, I would every weekend I would be like, let's go watch it in the screening room after work because it was so. It's awesome. I'm like, I need you to see this movie. And then like Hunter of the Wild People is like his next movie after that was just awesome. Though.
So sell people right now. What's his name and what's he made?
It's like Taikiti. I cannot pronounce his name to say.
That's okay.
But like,
Tell him the movies to watch.
Yeah. But What We Do in the Shadows. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
let's do that.
And then his other film, it's Hunt of the Wilder. Oh my God. I can't remember this is one of those things that's going to drive me nuts. And I don't have my phone on me.
It's really okay.
Anyway, this movie came out after. It's awesome with Sam Neill. It's fantastic. You need to see this movie also.
Sam Neill. Those are two words that guarantee quality right there.
Yeah.
Star of Event Horizon, Jurassic Park, and of course, the final conflict, Omen 4.
Okay. I would actually. All right. Wow. Also watching The Mouth of Madness because that's his best movie.
I'm just
Man,
kidding.
I cannot believe you referenced that.
Omen 4 is so...
I love your history of just like random stuff like
that.
No,
I love good actors in bad movies.
Oh, man.
That's one
Omen
of my
4
favorite
is,
things.
Oh boy, that's a real bad movie.
Yeah, I really like when very capable actors show up in terrible motion
Oh, it's
pictures.
the best. It's the best.
That's a pretty fun one.
Yeah.
What's your favorite word?
Well, I could just be a sound that I always make, but probably
There we go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Is Mike Ransky's favorite word.
Or awesome. Actually, I think awesome might be.
Like awesome?
Yeah, I realized I was doing my show actually. Like I use the word awesome so much it's out of control.
Yeah, my friend and former boss at IGN, Steve Butts, I used to keep a bell at my desk, so every time he said the word super, I would ring it.
Yeah. I would have thought it'd been sorry, but okay.
No, it's super.
One of those two. Gotcha.
Well, he uses it at the beginning of words, like it's always super awesome, super effective, super wonderful, like that.
Yeah.
Like, ding,
good
ding,
descriptor.
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah. Always super. The show is super.
Exactly.
So, there you go.
Ding.
Ding.
Exactly. Cake or pie?
Oh, this one I was already prepared for. It's definitely pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expound.
I mean, I'm honestly like, because I'm from New England, and it's all about the apple pie and that strawberry rhubarb. And okay, so good. I literally went with my family like a couple months ago. I'm sorry, we went to an orchard, like I think an hour and a half away, just so I can get their best apple pie. Because that's what I needed. I needed to have that.
A really good slice of apple pie is incredible. Now, I noticed you said strawberry rhubarb. Where do you fall on the strawberry rhubarb v. rhubarb, like, spectrum?
Oh, like, what do you mean? Like,
well, like, so there's strawberry rhubarb pie, and then there's rhubarb pie. And those are two very
I've
different
never actually
things.
had a rhubarb pie.
Ah, okay. So,
that's interesting, because it must be really bitter, right?
Not if you put enough... well, it always has a bitter tang to it, but
yeah.
the solution is apparently just to put 4 times the sugar in that you put in the strawberry rhubarb one.
Yeah.
It is probably the least healthy thing you can put in your mouth.
Oh, that's lovely.
Man, it's good.
I mean, I'm a fan of the strawberry rhubarb
it's
pie.
It's kind of a sour, bitter, but super sweet taste.
Yeah.
Big fan of it. Strawberry rhubarb I like too, but I think plain rhubarb is even better.
That sounds interesting. I gotta try that.
Really good.
Okay.
You got to make it right though. I mean, that's one of those. One of the best pies I ever had was actually had a dried apricot pie.
Oh, interesting.
It was extraordinary.
I like dried apricots.
Yeah, right. That was the basis, and then it was that was amazing.
Oh.
All right.
Well, good pies there.
So we've hit the high note there. We bounced around. I threw some cinema ones there. Were there any you were really excited about answering that we skipped before we get to the end?
No, I think we're good. You got
right.
me. You got me on this.
Anything you want to ask me before we get off?
How do you keep doing this every week? You're a real busy boy.
Well, I'm a busy boy, and a lot of it's that I enjoy it. A lot of it is that this is a creative outlet of a different kind.
Yes.
It's a chance to try to make people's lives a little better, and in the process, make my life a little better.
Yeah.
I don't think it's arrogant to hope that every now and then the stories that people tell are helpful to other people. I get to meet and hear. I know you, but I didn't know most of the things you told me today.
Cool. All right.
This happens with people I know well.
Yeah.
Again and again and again. You know, when I sit down with Greg or Colin, I learn things about them I never knew. I sit down with Alana from work, learn things about her I never knew. It's on and on. So this is fun. And then there's the fact that this is a job that means a lot to my financial well-being. So there's that part too.
Yeah.
And it's become an instrumental part of my life. So that's another reason, is because it's a necessary joy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
No, it's awesome, man. It's a great show. I love this stuff. I've watched the show every week, and it's good stuff, buddy.
You're a sweetie.
I'm just really happy. I'm really happy you're doing this, and I think this is exciting. Trust me, after having to do this myself, like, this is a lot of work. So it's awesome.
It's a bit of work, and I have a very tolerant audience. That's helpful.
Yeah, you got good people in that. I mean, man, that Facebook group is awesome.
Yeah, our community's great. So do join the Facebook group. It's free and it's fun, and you meet a lot of nice folks. Pockets Full of Soup Facebook group. Just search for that. Send us a request. We'll give you an approval. Come on in. Chat about all kinds of stuff, and we occasionally throw some fun things up there. So pop on in. And until next time, I'm here with Mike Aransky. If folks want to find you one last time, that's
ClassicAransky.com. ClassicAransky.com.
ClassicAransky.com. It's the website you visit to learn about making movies. This sounds like an MST3K bit, but even worse than that. I can't. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you keep going with it, man.
No, I really
keep it up. Keep it up.
That's going to be a new theme song. All right.
All right, lock it down.
So, until next time, I'm your host, Jared. Thank you so much for watching and listening. See you next time.